Hey, and welcome to this Tuesday pod of Born to Be a Star. Today is Tuesday, another Tuesday. There's a lot happening in the world, and let's get to it. First of all, did you know that you're a star wherever you are? Your reflection in the mirror is a reflection of where you've been and where you're going. We need to be starting our days saying to ourselves, yes, we can. Yes, I can make a cup of coffee. Yes, I can get up and get out the bed. Yes, I can be active and go to the gym even though I'm tired and I want to go back to sleep. Yes, I can do all these things and more, and I'm going to. Yes, I can learn a new language, pick up a new hobby. Yes, I can buy a house if I want to, or move into a new apartment if I don't want to deal with a mortgage right now because the mortgage rates suck. Yes, I can invest. Yes, I can do a lot of things. We shouldn't be apologizing for the things that we can do. We shouldn't be apologizing if we want to learn something new, and we shouldn't be apologizing even if we learn differently. Yes, I can figure out where I'm going to buy jewelry. Yes, I can figure out where I'm going to get my hair done or what I'm going to do next to my hair. And I shouldn't feel sad about the fact that maybe I want to change it up and maybe I don't want to always continuously look the same. And see, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And neither should you. Outside of the yes, we can, next up, there's never give up. If we give up, how are we going to get to the best part of the story? Giving up does not get you to the end. Giving up does not get you to the happy ending. And giving up doesn't get you to the details of why things are happening the way they're happening. In fact, you're going to be left with nothing if you don't continue. And as far as I'm concerned, why would I ever want to give up? Why would you want to not have the best part of the story? That's my philosophy. What do you think your philosophy is for that? Do you agree with that or do you disagree with that? What would you do? Would you give up? Like, how do you tell somebody that's got cancer you have to fight and you have to go through chemo and you have to do all these things to get to the other side of that? Like, if you have to have a major surgery or something happens or a person has a seizure or they have an aneurysm or anything like that happens or something goes wrong, you have to be the person that promotes positivity, and you also need to be the person that promotes love and understanding and kindness, because this is a difficult place that we live in, and sometimes it's difficult to understand that things happen and sometimes they're not good, but you have to get through them. So I want to encourage you to be brave, be strong, and be resilient in the eye of the storm, in the darkness of the clouds, in the corner of a room. In any of these situations, find your strength. And the last but the not least, why not today? Call your best friend, send a text message, send an email to somebody that's important. Let the people in your life know that you are important, and don't give up. Just keep pushing and keep moving forward too. Honestly, if you stop, how are you ever going to get to the best part of everything? You're not going to get to the best part of everything. You need to stop pushing everything off and putting everything on back burners and saying at some point you're going to get to it. When's that some point? That's my question. When are you going to get to it? Because you can constantly say over and over again, at some point I'm going to get to it. But I guess my question is when? When are we going to get to it? Like, I always bring up, like, call your mom, because I talk to my mom every day. She's basically like one of my best friends. And I check up on her, see how her day is going, making sure that she has everything that she needs. She is retired. She worked very hard during her career as a teacher. And, I just want to verify. It's important to spend time with your mom. Like, I just had a new niece. Aurora was born, so I'm making plans to go see her and visit her and spend time with my family. Like, it's important, not just your mom, maybe your dad, maybe your brother, maybe your sister, maybe your aunt, maybe your uncle. I told you that my Aunt Laura passed away, but I went and I spent time with her, and it really hurt because I loved her. But I'm glad that I went and I spent that time with her. It was very important to me. That's what I'm talking about. Why not today? Or even you could use why not today with your own personal life. If you're waiting to accomplish something, we will we have to think about why not today in our own personal lives. Why aren't you applying for that job? Why aren't you seeking to live in the suburbs? Why aren't you trying to get a newer car? Why aren't you trying to capitalize on your education? Why aren't you trying to find a deal on that hotel that you're trying to make a vacation with? Why aren't you going on a vacation? Why aren't you traveling? Why aren't you doing a lot of things, right? Literally. There's so many things you can use why not today with. It should be something that uplifts your day every day. And I just want to encourage you with that. Moving on from that, let's get to some of these headlines on this Tuesday. Um, you know, nobody likes Biden. It's it couldn't be more evident. It's kind of entertaining watching RFK and watching what's happening. I find it very entertaining. I was able to see the interview with Condoleezza Rice. Very respectful woman. Really like it. Honestly, I think that the Biden problem is the problem for the Democrats. Who are they going to have compete against him? And as much as I like RFK, is he really going to be compatible? And why aren't we doing a conversation? Why aren't they going out there like they typically do during presidential elections and battling? Why don't we have that? Also, on another thing, what happened in Russia, man? Like, there's all these different stories and these different narratives about what happened in Russia. Regardless of what they're painting the story as in America, I want to paint the story for you from No Media Allowed. It's likely that was a distraction. It was a failed coup, right? It failed. There's a problem that we need to talk about. Ukraine's not going to win. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm sorry to be the bearer of the bad news. I'm sorry to be the person to tell you the truth about Ukraine, to tell you what's going to happen. They're not going to win. It doesn't matter. And I know that even Republicans and Democrats and all these people want you to think that it's going to be possible. It isn't. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm sorry to be the one to give you the bad news. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're going to have to live through this. Difficult. But we really, seriously, really need to be questioning this war. They are only interested in the war because it benefits them. It's a bunch of shit. I don't want to hear Nikki Haley or all these people that are supposed to be Republican say that they want this to continue. We have border issues in America where people just deciding they want to live here too. But outside of all those problems that really do exist, yeah, Westworld isn't leading anything. That's the point of me talking about all those things just now. The West is failing. Honestly, the West likes to tell people what they're doing. The West likes to tell people how they should act. And I'm sorry, you can't really say anything to anyone about anything because you're not doing your job. You're not doing the things you need to do for the people that live in the country that you represent. Joe Biden is a horrible representation of me, my family, anybody I know, anybody I love, anybody I respect. Right? If you want to be on board with this stupidity, go ahead. If you want to claim that Joe Biden is great, you're by yourself claiming that. America has problems with inflation, Potato chips at the grocery store are $8. Now, I don't eat potato chips. I obviously eat something healthier. But can you imagine buying a bag of Lay's and it costing $8? It used to be 4 something or 3 something. Milk used to be $2. I remember when eggs were $1.79. Gas was $1.50, $1.99. Now it's like $4 again. Like, the prices are not where they should be, and things are not happening the way they should, and nobody wants to talk about that. And the reason everything is so ridiculous, so insane, is because of Joe Biden. The West cannot give instructions to other people. China doesn't respect us. No country that matters respects us. We're trying to get gas from Saudi Arabia because we have removed the ability to have our own gas in our own country. We need to break away from these shitty countries, and we need to create things for ourselves. And until we get back to that line of thought, until we get back to the idea that until we get back to the idea that maybe all this idea about electric cars and all these ridiculous ideas, maybe we also need to be reliant on the fact that not everybody has an electric car or wants one. I'm a person that has a gas vehicle. I have a Volkswagen. I happen to love my Volkswagen. I happen to love Volkswagen. I've switched over, sticking with German vehicles, and I don't have any complaint about that. I don't really have anything negative to say about anything else, but if I'm going to drive something, I want to drive something that's really superior, and Volkswagen is superior. They're not thinking long term. That's another problem I have with the West. Like, when they try to indoctrinate children and they try to like confuse children about their sexuality, and they have all these ridiculous books in classrooms about sex and feelings and all this ridiculous shit, they are making eunuchs out of children. So there's going to be a problem. And if your ideology is that you're going to bring illegal people into America and they're going to be the representation of America, then there is definitely a problem here, and the West needs to shut up. And China is right. You need to carry out your own business first before you come over here telling us what to do. They're completely correct. Just saying. Outside of that, men can't be women. The idea that Women's History Month, the Vice President of the United States of America wanted to celebrate a trans man on that day, the day that the month that's supposed to be representing women has to be shared with trans women, and it is okay. It's just crazy, right? Like, seriously? Seriously. Where do we go from here? I have questions. Men can't be women, though. Why are we pretending like that's a thing? Why are we lying to ourselves? Is it to make the person feel better because they need psychiatric help? Like, why are doctors prescribing this medication that these people are going to need forever that's going to permanently harm their bodies and make it very difficult for them to do things? You can't just change your bodies apart around and assume you're going to be a different sex. That's not realistic, and it's honestly disgusting. And like I've said before, I am not on board with this. We need to respect women for who they are: wives, daughters, mothers, nieces, aunts, teachers, leaders. And stop trying to erase the ideology of a woman by calling her a birthing person, by acting like, I don't know, breastfeeding is not a woman thing. Why are we doing this? Why are we acting like this isn't normal? Why? Why is it so difficult for us just to call it out and acknowledge it? Why do people have to put these stupid signs in their lawns for things that they were not talking about 10 years ago, things that they were not talking about 20 years ago when their children were in school? No one was talking about this crazy stuff. When I was in high school, no one was talking about this crazy stuff. I'm not saying that gay people didn't exist, but not to this extent. They're not teaching these children anything. Yesterday I told you about the scores in America. They're horrible. They've never been this horrible. Children are not learning. They're learning about sexuality at 5. That's not helping them with their reading skills and their development with math and science and social studies and things that they really need to be equipped with so that they can get through grade to grade, grade to grade to grade. So that maybe they can get on the high honor roll. Maybe they can be successful. They'll be prepared and ready for college if they decide they want to go to college or whatever they want to do. But you're not preparing these children for the world that we live in by indoctrinating them and limiting their ability to learn, by making them a sheep. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry. If you've got an Adam's apple and you're a man, you're not a woman. I'm sorry. I know you might not like that, but a transvestite is not a woman. It's somebody who's mentally ill. And these people need to be called the fuck out. And I'll spend every day doing it if I need to. I don't want this to be the main topic of my conversation every day, but it is. Because these people get a month, then they take over Women's History Month. Like, how do you take over Women's History Month and you're not a woman? Trans don't have rights. There are no trans kids. This is insane. A man is a man, and a woman has a vagina. That's the end of the story. She's the one that can have children. Sometimes if there is infertility, it makes it a little harder. But regardless of that, a woman has the ability to produce a child, and a man does not. That's it. That's the end of the story. There's nothing else to talk about. We're not having a conversation about this. And I'm really sick of the idea that you want to. Just saying. Next part of the conversation, outside of the fact that we know men can't be women, more will die with the rainbow lie. Has anyone forgotten where AIDS originated from, or monkeypox? This idea that they want to have rapid sex with people like animals in buildings, and they want to have all this insanity, and they want to do these things that maybe they shouldn't do. Are we acting like that couldn't potentially be a problem? Because it could be, right? Are we going to sit here and act like that's not risky? Having sex and doing things with multiple people isn't risky? Why are we acting like people's decisions don't have consequences? They want to hype up this non-relationship, I can have sex with whoever I want ideology that's not connected to any sort of religion or Christianity. They want to knock the idea of a man marrying a woman or just the old way of doing things. They want to knock that completely, right? And they want to create this new ideology that tells you could fuck anything you want, and that's okay. And yes, I use the fuck word because that's what I mean. That's not passion. That's not love. That's not a relationship. That's not anything. That's insanity. And there are consequences for insanity. People are going to have to deal with these consequences. Not only are they potentially going to get serious sexually transmitted diseases, but they are sucking the life out of a child being a child. They're sucking the life out of relationships. They're sucking the life out of everything. I don't want to hear about these people. I don't care about them. Didn't they start off by saying we just want to live in our own ways and we want to do whatever we want in the privacy of our own houses? But you motherfuckers don't do anything in the privacy of your houses. You're out on the street. You have all these fucking parties and picnics, and we're going to go to the LGBTQ club thing, or we're going to go to this picnic, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, blah, blah, blah. It's just one thing after another. This is June, right? We're about to go into July. And this month at the White House, a man that turned into a woman flashed everybody with naked body parts. Now, isn't it supposed to be a good thing if you're invited to the White House, right? When I was younger and I was in middle school, I definitely got a presidential award, and I legitimately, I thought I was the coolest kid in the world. I was so excited about that, to have worked that hard with my studies in school to get that, and my mom has it somewhere. It's in the basement or something. She has it in paperwork somewhere. And once I have children, I would want to show that to them with their nana, so they could see how hard mommy worked for her education when she was younger, right? Taking that into consideration, I would think you would validate going to the White House as something extremely important. Except that's not what these people do. They want to disregard the idea of importance, the idea of something that's sacred, and the idea that something is special. Not only do they want to bombard all those things and disregard things that have actual meaning, they want to take what the White House means away from America. That's why they wanted the White House to display a rainbow flag, and they want all this insanity. It's not just that they're getting STDs, it's that they're removing the first layer of consciousness for everybody else to call this shit out. It's insanity. These people are sick and they need a psychiatrist. They need to go to a fucking mental institution, and we need to bring those back. These people need to be medicated and medidated, okay? Inject them with a needle so they can shut the fuck up. I'm tired of hearing about these LGBTQ things and these rallies and these meetings and all this shit that they continue to have. I'm tired of it. And I know I'm not the only one tired of it. It's not normal. And I'm not saying that normal gets to beat everything, but what's wrong with us just following the Bible? What's wrong with that? I don't know. Going down this path is going to lead you to one place: hell, and to one entity, the devil. And when God comes back, what do you think's going to happen to you following all this ridiculous shit? You are going to be with them, dealing with the consequences. There should be no handouts, because when you continue to give people handouts and you keep telling them, suck the titty of the government and take all this stuff, when you continue to do this over and over and over again and give these handouts to people and they don't work for them and they get all these free things like, I don't know, free cable, free food, all these things they have not worked for, unless you're elderly and you seriously need help, and there are elderly people that seriously need help. Unless you qualify for it because you don't make enough money, I don't see why you should get that. And I think the only way you should get that is if you need some help. Like, the majority of your groceries shouldn't be bought from a food stamp card, right? Where you live shouldn't be connected to the government giving you a handout, giving you free money, and giving you money when you have a child. Your reaction shouldn't be, I'm having another child so I can get all this money back for taxes, right? How the fuck does that work? Question mark, and question mark again. I mean, that's what I'm asking, and I don't really know. But I can tell you, I don't understand how the government continues to give things away to people for free and they don't hold anyone accountable. And you should be asking that question too. If you're middle class, you and your husband, or you by yourself, or whatever your partner may be, regardless of your sexuality, if you're middle class and you're married and you're filing together jointly and you make, I don't know, like $100,000, you're taxed at a higher rate, right? You can't qualify for any of those things. But they take the money that you make from your job your career, and they tax you higher. So where does that money go? Because I don't care about Ukraine. I definitely don't. I don't even give a fuck about the army anymore, because they're hyping up the army and the Marines and the Navy and the Air Force and any layer of it with this sexuality bullshit. That's not preparing these people for what they're getting into. Most of people in the army leave with PTSD, and they have serious mental issues, especially if they're directly on the line. And that's a problem. And nobody's being realistic with them. So they could walk around doing their voices, wearing their costumes, and acting like that's a thing, right? This is all bullshit. The government is giving things away. They're not holding these entities accountable. The FBI is gone, the CIA is gone, and the army is a joke in the United States of America. The more we allow this, the worse it's going to be long term. Nobody's going to want to join the army. We don't have enough people in it. If something actually does happen with Taiwan or China or Japan or any of these entities that might want to take over the United States of America, nothing's going to happen to fix it. Yep. Just saying. It's a wrap, bro. But I don't think people should get government handouts. I don't think the government should be giving free cell phones to people that don't deserve it. And I don't think people should be getting Amazon accounts or Netflix accounts or any of that shit. What does that have to do with you getting a goddamn job? Like, unemployment should be for people that are in between roles and they're switching from one thing to another. It shouldn't be for people that could just decide they want to never go to work. That's not what it's for. Honestly. And when we lie to ourselves and we try to convince ourselves one thing's for another, and we want to hype up people that don't have jobs, this is your result. I'm sick of it, right? I'm really fucking sick of it. I'm sick of the idea that people are getting rewarded for doing nothing. Women are having children, and it's crazy. It's really fucking crazy. We're not calling things out. There's problems. Big, bad problems. There should be no handouts. And the government is just giving you a sticker while they blow up the place you live and tell you that they didn't blow up the place you live. There was just an accidental bomb there. Remember when the Pentagon gave away $6.5 billion last week to Ukraine, but then the Ukrainian president came on and said that they just needed 6.5? That wasn't an accident. There's a connection between America and Ukraine called money laundering. And Joe Biden is definitely crooked, so is his entire family. And until we fix things here, the West is dead. I'm living in remnants of a great country, and I'm just so glad that, I'm not a child. As I get closer to having my own children, I'm just going to have to protect them even more. They're going to private school, and I'm not dealing with this. From the moment they're born, they're going to be in private daycare. They're going to private Catholic school, and they will not be a part of this. And by the time they turn 18, 17, whatever the fuck it is, they can decide where they want to go to college. It's likely going to be a private college, or maybe it won't be. But they're not going to grow up with a mentality the way these children are. They're not going to be asking me questions about sexuality. They're not. Because I'm going to make it a point to have them grow up in church. I'm going to make it a point to give them values outside of a fucking iPhone. And I'm going to make it a point to not let them see this crap on Disney Plus and all these weird stations. And I'm going to know what the teachers are teaching my child, because I'm going to be there at all these damn meetings, and I'm really going to be focused. Like, I'm very concerned about my nephews and my nieces as they get older, because coming from a teaching background, I can tell you, you can't trust these people. Moving on from that, it's not just the teachers that are coming after your kids. It's Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. And you shouldn't let your kids on it. They might hate you now, but they're going to like you later. Right? Don't let your children on social media. Be strong. Honestly, tech is chasing the youth because they need them, because they're desperate, because no person cares. Tea Talk on this Tuesday. Uh, how about we have some Mint Majesty? That's always good. Or, maybe not Mint Majesty. How about we have some black tea, right? That sounds good. I like black tea. Let's have some black tea. One sugar. Boom. Getting rid of junk. Now, I have been saying for weeks I was going to go through my clothes and everything, and I'm going to do that this week. If not today, maybe tomorrow. I really need to go through all my crap and just throw shit away. It's not a situation where I'm giving it to a shelter. It's not a situation where I'm folding it up and I'm cleaning it. And I just need to go through a closet full of clothes and verify that these are clothes I want to wear. Like, I really want to do a change with my wardrobe. I want to look more professional, and I don't want to come across as not what my job is. Taking that into consideration, I think I really do need to go through my clothes. I want less of the cotton fabrics, and I want more of the satin fabrics, and I want less of the loose fitting clothes, and I want more of a tight fitting clothes, and I want to look more professional. I've been going with the London I do think that you have to be content with throwing things away and not getting all like, oh, I could save this for later. I could do this at a later point. Like, if you haven't used something and it's sitting there, maybe you need to get rid of it. And I really got to get better at throwing stuff out and like taking time to just make sure I don't have crap I don't need. Like, I don't know, sometimes I get lazy and I have a million things going on in between work and living and the gym and life and being a wife and all the things that go into it every day. You can get caught up. But you need to take time out of your day every day to throw things away that you might not necessarily need. I think that it's okay to get rid of junk. It's okay to know what junk in it is, and it's okay to not have to buy everything every day and kind of have to. It's okay to get rid of things that you don't need. Moving into the main part of the conversation, changing the way I shop, which sort of in line with what I said earlier. What I just said. I want to change the way I shop. Like, and I know I shouldn't be as reliant on Amazon as I'm going to become, right? But I like the functionality of ordering something and having it delivered to my house the next day, if not the same day, right? I'm never going in a Target again, so I have to change the way I shop. I already didn't like Walmart, so like I'm limited. Like I'm going to be using Zulily. I'm switching over to doing my own dip nails, and I'm really making a lot of changes for my own life. Taking that into consideration, that means I'm going to have to shop differently, right? That's exactly what it means. And I'm not mad about that. I'm excited. I always like doing new things, trying new things, and maybe doing something a little differently. I think that changing the way you shop is very important. You don't want to always look the same way, and if you're stepping into a new turf or you're stepping into a new role or a new thing, you want to look the part. Which is why I decided to start doing my nails by myself again. I don't have time to be going to a nail shop. I'm going to have to figure out my eyebrows. Maybe I'll get those done differently. But I want to not be who I just was in my last situation, and I want to look like a professional young woman that might own the world, and I want to give off that vibe. And in order for me to give off that vibe, for me to dress to impress, for the moment someone looks at me, they say I want to get to know her, for me to have that vibe, I have to change a lot of things, and I'm going to do that. Out with the old, in with the new. I'm not going to harper on things that didn't work out, and I'm not going to waste my time thinking about things that don't deserve me to spend my time thinking about. Things didn't work out and on one way or another. People are not always going to be reliable. Situations are going to change, and you might not be at a job that you started that you thought you were going to be with long term. You might decide you want to switch it, or you didn't like something, or maybe it was a con and they told you something was something that it wasn't, and they lied to you. It could be an array of all those things. You get to determine what your future is, not a job. You don't have to sit there and take something because it's convenient to just watch as something burns down. You don't have to do that. I think the greatest thing that happened in this nation was called the great resign, or the resign, or whatever it was, in 2019, where people were like, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. Young people, millennials, educated, uneducated, if you're not going to talk to me the correct way, you're not going to talk to anybody, including me, because I'm leaving. Bye, click, and they just walk away. They don't give a fuck about unemployment. They don't care. Now, that's taking a risk, right? Because how can you survive without a job? But at the same point, if you're not going to treat me the correct way, I can find another job. I can find another career. I can maybe do a a sideline hustle. Maybe I'll do Uber. Maybe I'll do something else. There's a lot of things I could probably do just so I don't have to be in an environment with you. And that is the difference. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? It is. We're not living in a time where you have to just sit there and be quiet and just accept shit and die. And I don't know about you, but I am not a person that's just going to accept shit and die. I'm not that person. And I don't think you should be that person either. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I mean. Outside of that, out with the old. If it didn't work out, if you moved on, don't think about that job. If you're not friends with that person, don't think about that person. If you're not talking to a family member that's really detrimental to your life and they're really making your life miserable, then don't talk to them. If you moved because the neighborhood you lived in was not safe, don't go back to that neighborhood. How many times have you seen rappers or some talented person move out of an area and they go back and they get shot and they get killed? Timeless, right? Too many times. Let that be a lesson to you. Out with the old, in with the new. Education has been destroyed, and we just talked about that on No Media Allowed. Instead of them teaching children the basics with science, math, reading, social studies, literature, and writing and cursive and things that children are going to need as they get older, they're teaching them about sexuality. And that's all they care about, is indoctrinating and removing children's ability to learn and love reading, right? They're ruining children on purpose. They're creating eunuchs on purpose. I don't know what the end game is here with the Marxists and the far leftist, progressive, chaotic power. But they're creating something that they're not going to be able to fix. And honestly, let's let them lay in the bed that they're making. We're watching them do it as they do it. I told you the reason I stopped teaching, right? I just stopped because it wasn't going to work for me. I love children. I love teaching and I love education, and that's not the people that teach. It's people that aren't nice. It's people that don't understand children, and it's people that are worried about numbers. That's what teaching is about. Numbers for the district you teach in. It's not about children. It's a numbers game. It always was. It just got worse. Teachers used to care, and now they don't care about anything because their paychecks are connected to the numbers. We got a problem here. And you need to sound the alarms. You need to open your eyes. You need to pay more attention to what your children are talking about. The conversations your 5-year-old is having. And do they actually know what's happening? You need to check to see if your child can read. Do they know what 2 plus 2 is? Can they do simple calculations? Do they understand math? Do they understand algebra? If they're in high school, do they understand chemistry? Are they actually focusing? How much do they know? And if you don't understand that, then you're part of the problem. Education is being destroyed before our eyes, and I don't know what's going to be left of it. There's competition with children around the world, and children in other places around the world are far smarter than children in America. That should be a problem for any parent, any educator, anybody that holds their value to America seriously. That should be a problem, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. Do you need surround sound? I feel like maybe you need surround sound depending on if you're watching like an action movie or something and you want to be able to hear it in the background. Now, I don't have surround sound. I don't even know how to get it, but maybe that would be something I invest time in checking out. But maybe the theaters have lost me because they cost too much money for me to go to the movie theater, and now I could just watch everything on demand and wait till it's $5.99 on Xfinity. Or just wait till it goes to like Paramount Plus or Netflix or Hulu or one of those things and find it there. Like, honestly, I'm good, dude. Pass. Moving into watching things with Star Watch talk. Man versus Master Chef battle. That's on Hulu. Looks pretty good. The Rookie. I don't know what that is. NXT is tonight, but AEW has options too, but that comes on tomorrow. We watched the Sunday event, Open Door. That was really good. Storm won, so I was really happy about that. We'll see what happens on NXT tonight. I really haven't been keeping up with the people that have been winning, but I'm really going to seriously try to figure out who's got the win in the bag tonight. Walls of Chefs, I don't know. The Watchful Eye, maybe that's good. Has anyone watched Freeform? That's a channel that used to be ABC Family, and they switched it to Freeform. I haven't watched that in like years. I don't even know what's on there. Who will replace Pat on Wheel of Fortune? I have no idea, but I feel like the people that watch the show should be included in that decision, but like always, they're not going to give us an opinion, so I guess we'll have to wait and we will have to see. It is the end of the podcast. Thank you for tuning into this Tuesday pod of Born to Be a Star. And I will see you tomorrow on Hump Day, a.k.a. Wednesday, a.k.a. the middle of the week. Don't forget you're a star wherever you are. Make sure you find something good to eat, something good to watch, and something fun to do. Don't forget, if you're in America, you are an American, and you should be proud of that flag. You should not be disgusted. You should not be embarrassed. You should be proud of it. Any day is an opportunity for you to change the way you shop. And any day is an opportunity for you to look at your light and say, I am light. You are the light in the darkness, and I do see you. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. Bye.